hope all is well. Well. Give y'all some time to come in. Happy New Year. Y'all probably gonna hear a lot of background noise today. The children are home, okay? They are here. So if you hear a lot of background noise, I apologize in advance. Let me get my stuff together here. I hope the holiday was well or went well for you all. Hope the new year went well. Christmas went well. Did I talk to y'all before Christmas? Or after Christmas? No, I don't think I did. So yes, I hope Christmas and New Year's went well, and all the in between, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of that. And I'm happy and excited to get back to our lives here. I didn't really post any polls for topics just because of to labor the time. But I thought it was a good idea for us to dig into self-reflection or reflection in general, more to be more strategic about reflection and to have a better understanding about reflection. I think we oftentimes, when we do the reflection or the journaling questions, right, or we, do all these different prompts and things when it comes to journaling or reflection, we have a whole lot of information, but not necessarily knowing what to do with it. So this live is going to be more so about that and diving into a little bit more detail. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. This is your first time. My name is Debbie. I'm a certified mindfulness coach. We talk about all things mindfulness, meditation, but also just ways to live our lives more mindfully. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop in the comments where you're watching from. Let me make sure I have everything up here, and we can dive in. This is actually going to be like two parts, a two-parter. So we have part one where we're really just kind of talk about what strategic reflection is, and then we'll dive into how do we ensure our reflection is helpful and impactful. I'll end with a declaration, and then next week we'll go a little bit more in detail. So we'll talk about different reflection questions, how to curate a reflection question, different ways of reflecting, because sometimes we may think of reflection as it just being one way, and it could be many things. So this is going to be a two-parter. I hope it's helpful. I hope it gives some insight based off of what you see or hear today. If there's something you want me to cover for next week, let me know. Hi, Alex. Welcome in. Hello, Preppy for Life. Welcome in. Hello, TD. Is it GG Music? Welcome in. I love food, sushi. Welcome in. I love food and sushi specifically also. So yes, let me know where you're watching from, and if reflection is something that you have been, working through. I know this is January. It's the top of the year. We're reflecting on our lives and what we can do better. So let me know in the comments. I love your videos. Thank you. I appreciate you watching and checking in with me. All right. Hey, 93 Love, welcome in. Hello, Ben, welcome in. Okay, and then, hey, is it Porsche? Welcome in. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and dive in here. So strategic reflections, part one. So what is strategic reflection? What do we even mean when we say that? So it's pausing long enough to learn, realign, and take action, okay? Regardless of if that action is big or small, all right? So I'll say that again. Strategic reflection is pausing long enough to learn, to realign, and take action, okay? So that's really a blanket overview, right? We often spend so much time reflecting on the findings that we have and then just sit with no resolution or solution. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate the gift. Thank you, thank you. Welcome in, Jackson. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. So many times we often spend so much time reflecting on those findings that we find within our reflection, but we don't have any solution or resolution. And sometimes solution and resolution is just more awareness, more wisdom, more understanding, right? So taking the time to, one, understand that, and two, when we do need a solution or are looking for a solution, we're driving ourselves to that versus sitting in depression or sadness or rumination or anxiety, or, there's so many things that could happen with that, guilt, shame. So that's where we're leading this conversation. I don't know, Jackson. That's a good question. Welcome in, Chad. And did I hit everybody? Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. So that is really the direction that we want to go. Reflection can often evolve into overthinking, like I said, anxiety, fear, shame, or guilt, which can be harmful as well as paralyzing. So oftentimes we have all of these reflection questions and journaling and all of these things that we do on it. That's kind of been more of a popularity, I guess. People are just diving into that more without the conversation of when it becomes harmful or how it becomes harmful. Okay. So when you notice that your reflection is more harmful than impactful or helpful, that's when you want to take the time to really question whether this is truly reflection or if this is causing more damage or if this is damaging. Reflection should be more about understanding you and your environment. It's not always about fixing you or other people, or even fixing those environments. Typically, reflection is about more understanding and more awareness about how you feel or about a particular situation, or observing the facts and the truths and the things that you have told yourself about a situation. It's maybe even knowing and understanding the source of why things are happening a certain way, but it may not always, end in a resolution or a solution or even action. It may not always end that way. So that's one of the things that you want to understand and know about reflection, because I think a lot of this is misconstrued. Hi, Dakota. You're an EMT and fireman. Awesome. Thank you so much for subscribing. And I hope this is helpful. And thank you so much for your service. Also, I know that's a hard and difficult job. But yeah, so I hope that this gives you a little bit more insight of what strategic reflection really is and just what reflection should be and what it should look like. Okay. So just to give you a little bit more, right? What it is and what it is not. So reflection is intentional awareness. It's a pause with purpose, a way to observe experiences without judgment. It's an opportunity to learn from situations. It's a practice of clarity and honesty. Reflection is evolving, right? So you may reflect on the same thing and uncover different things each time, right? You may get new information every time you reflect on this new thing. So it's not going to be a one size fits all. What you reflect on 2 years ago, when you reflect back on it now, it may be a totally different narrative and story just based off of lived experience. Reflection is compassionate. It's not punishment. Oftentimes we think of reflection, even when you think back when you were younger, it's like, oh, well, go and reflect on what you did and sit and stew in that, right? And that's not technically what reflection should be. It should be more compassionate. It should be empathetic. It should be something that is helpful and beneficial, not necessarily something that you sit in shame or guilt. Let's see. Because I do, and sometimes I need them. Thank you, 93 love. No problem. Okay. And you're in Kansas. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Okay, yeah, sometimes I like wearing glasses, okay? Sometimes when it comes to astigmatism, you need them, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes I do it for fashion. Sometimes I don't. It's just is what it is. Hi, Rashid. Welcome in. Okay, so that's what reflection is. Reflection is intentional awareness, a pause for purpose, a way to observe experiences, an opportunity to learn from situations, a practice of clarity and honesty. Reflection is evolving and it is compassionate. So what reflection is not, okay? Reflection is not replaying the same thoughts in a loop over and over and over again, okay? Reflection is not self-criticism or shame. Reflection is not overthinking every decision. Reflection is not reliving past mistakes over and over and over again. Reflection is not staying stuck in the past. It's not a demand to have all the answers or force certainty. And it's not an opportunity for comparison. Okay? I'll go through that again. Thank you, Dakota. Watching from Cape Town at 4 a.m. Why? Go to sleep. It's recorded. Come back. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sutton. So I'll go through that again. What reflection is not? Not replaying the same thoughts on a loop, not self-criticism or shame. It's not overthinking every decision. It's not reliving past mistakes, not staying stuck in the past. It's not a demand to have all the answers or for certainty. It's not an opportunity for comparison, okay? Replaying the same thoughts over and over and over again is rumination, and that is a part of anxiety. And sometimes we think that that's helpful, and it's not, y'all. It's really not. It actually makes things worse. Hi, is it Risha? Hi, Risha. I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, but I am in the Chicagoland area right now. Okay, so when it comes to thinking about our reflection and how we can ensure that it's helpful and not harmful, I have 5 ways that we can ensure that our reflection is more helpful than harmful. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so I did say I'm in the US. If I say Chicago or Philadelphia, that's in the US. Hello. Is it Meemze? Okay, no thanks. All right. So, how can we ensure our reflection is helpful? Number 1, stay in observation, not judgment. Go into your reflection with a purpose of observation, understanding, and curiosity. I'll say that again. Stay in observation, not judgment. Go into reflection with a purpose of observation, understanding, and curiosity, right? And I'll even add to that empathy, okay? Because of the fact that many times we go into reflection as a way to criticize ourselves, and that's not helpful. Not to say that you can't hold yourself accountable, right? Of course, accountability and honesty is a part of reflection, but sometimes we take it too far, y'all. Sometimes we take it too far where we sit in self-criticism over and over and over again. And it's more so about taking the time to say something is wrong or something is off or something is bothersome or something is bothering me, and find a way to be more curious and understanding about that. We're talking about strategic reflection is what we're talking about. I don't know what the question is. Yeah, we're talking about strategic reflection. So what we're going through is steps on how you can ensure your reflection is helpful, not harmful. So yeah, so stay in observation, not judgment. Go into it with the purpose of observation, understanding, and curiosity. So a question that you can say is, what am I noticing about myself versus why am I like this? Right? Because the overwhelming question of why turns into criticism and judgment. And not to say the answer of why isn't important. It just means that there's a way that you can get there without beating yourself up first. Okay? So that's point number 1. Stay in observation, not judgment. Point number 2, knowing when reflection needs action versus when it doesn't. Okay? Knowing when reflection needs action versus when it doesn't. I'll say that one more time. Knowing when reflection needs action versus when it doesn't. Not all reflection needs an action. Not all reflection needs a solution, right? There are moments or times where your reflection really just brings new understanding, new wisdom, brings more awareness, and that's enough, right? Now, granted, there are situations where reflection will need action or solution, but not everything is going to create that type of response. Okay. Hi, Andy. Welcome in. Good night. Thank you, Sutton. So that's point number where we're at. Point number 2, knowing when reflection needs action versus when it doesn't. Sometimes the solution is understanding and self-awareness. It can be naming what is true, acknowledging how you felt, or recognizing a pattern within yourself or within others. Okay. So you're processing emotions, you're grieving or transitioning, you're gaining self-awareness, you're honoring your capacity, you're making sense of an experience. That may not need a solution. It just may need that bit of a pause or that time to have awareness, acceptance, even more wisdom, again, more understanding. And it's more about changing what is influencing your actions in those moments versus actually taking action. I hope that makes sense. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about it. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. You may need a solution or take an action when a pattern keeps repeating itself, a boundary is being crossed, your values and actions are misaligned, something is draining or exhausting your energy and time. Okay, I'll say that again. Hold on, there's a few comments here. Hi, Eric. Welcome in. Nice to meet you too, Andy. Is it Jassim? Welcome in from London. The channel is primarily about mindful living. So today we're talking about strategic reflection and how we can reflect on, do our journal reflections, our prompting, and things of that matter in a strategic way. Is it Wakus? Is it Wakus Gaming? Welcome in. Yes, I had a happy New Year and Merry Christmas. Thank you. Is it Amen? Hope I'm saying that right. Or Amy, maybe. Yes, the content is primarily about mindful living. Thank you, 93 Love. I appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah, today we're talking about strategic reflection. We're going through different ways that you can ensure that your reflections are helpful. Number one was stay in observation, not judgment. Number two was knowing when reflection needs action and when it doesn't. And where I ended with that is when reflection needs action and when it doesn't, right? So if it does need reflection, right, or a solution, you may see a pattern keep repeating, a boundary is being crossed, your values and actions are misaligned, something is draining or exhausting your energy and time. So when you see that within a reflection, that may be an indicator that there needs to be action, okay? So understanding the two when you're reflecting can give you where your reflection should land or end, okay? That was number two. Number three, ask yourself the right questions, okay? Ask yourself open-ended, supportive questions, right? Now, I know sometimes we get journaling prompts and journaling questions, and they're very robust. They ask a whole lot of you, right? And sometimes that can be overwhelming and create a sense of, I don't even want to ask or answer any questions, right? So just like understanding that you have to ask yourself the right questions. Not every journal prompt is right for you. Even if you do have journal prompts or you do have reflection questions, you can alter them and change them so that way they are right or the right sense of questions that you're going to be asking for yourself. If it's a closed-ended question, maybe change it to an open-ended question. There's so many ways that you can alter it. So that way it holds true for you and that it's helpful for you. Okay. So that is, yes, asking open-ended supportive questions. So instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get this together? Why am I always like this? Right. You can more so ask questions like, what can I do differently? What emotions come up for me? What might this be teaching me? What patterns do I see? What do I need more of or less of? What support do I need? What's within my control? What actions does this require? Okay? So being very strategic with how you're asking yourself these questions can make all the difference on how impactful your reflection will or could be. Okay? So that was number three, asking yourself the right questions. The next way that you can ensure that your reflection is helpful and not harmful would be to honor your capacity, okay? Sometimes rest and self-care is all the reflection that you need in certain situations. Oftentimes we try to put on these very heavy tasks of us asking and answering all of these questions. And again, like I said, these things can be helpful, but in certain situations, it's not. Certain situations, it creates more anxiety, more frustration, more confusion, lack of clarity, the seek for certainty in spaces that your certainty is nowhere to be found, right? So like understanding, hi, Kaylee, sorry, welcome in. And is it Banana K2? I'm so sorry about your aunt passing away. That's definitely a situation where, this reflection time may be more difficult. That's where you would want to pace yourself. So sorry about your loss, though. And I hope this is helpful. This conversation is helpful. Okay, awesome. So honor your capacity. Like I said, sometimes rest and self-care is all the reflection that you need. Not everything is super deep, right? Not everything requires deep, intense reflection, especially when it's overwhelming, okay? It's okay to pause from the pause. Sometimes we're doing a whole lot of work, right? We're doing a whole lot of self-work, and we forget to have fun. We forget to be creative. We forget to enjoy life. And that's what makes it more difficult, more confusing. That's what creates the depression. That was what creates the sadness. So it's okay to pause from the pause. It's okay to pause and say, hey, I've done enough self-reflecting. Let me just go have some fun. Okay? I can go ahead and, bake me a cake, or I can go and do some art, or I can go and listen to music or go to a concert or whatever, right? Giving yourself the space to say, I'm not ready for this. That's okay. All right. So that was number 4, honor your capacity. Number 5, decide what comes next, right? Reflection ends with one of two things. It ends with either continued integration and awareness or actionable steps, right? So continued integration awareness is basically wisdom, right? Integration is when you allow that awareness to land and influence how you think, feel, or move naturally. I'll say that again. Integration is when you allow that awareness to land and influence how you think, feel, or move naturally. Okay? So understanding that may be the end result, that may be the solution, that may be the resolution, that may be where everything ends with just more awareness. And that's okay. It's not going to be, there may not always be a solve to the problem, right? And just because there's not a solve to the problem doesn't mean that there won't be one in the future. But understanding that if it ends without a solve, that's okay. All right. Actionable steps is basically, it generates a solution and actionable response. It cultivates personal or environmental changes, goal setting, habit forming, or habit changes. It's going to generate some form of action. And when you notice that your reflection is generating an action, be very intentional about that action, right? What's that one small step that I can do today to ensure that, I'm moving this resolution forward, right? What is, a goal that I can set for myself? And what's the timeline on that goal? What are some of the actions that I can take that are easier for me? And what are the actions that I can take that are harder for me, or are harder for me to go for? And do the easy ones first, right? There's so many different ways that you can take actionable steps, but your reflection should end in one of those two things. If it's not ending in one of those two things, you're probably falling more so into overthinking, anxiety, more of the rumination that we talked about, the instant replays, which then creates more of mental barriers and makes things more frustrating and exhausting. And then you get into burnout, you get into fatigue, you get into all of the other things that we talk about on this channel on a day-to-day basis. But this is where you'll be able to differentiate between whether your reflection is helpful or harmful. Okay. I hope this was helpful, y'all. Please let me know in the comments if it is. I'll start back at the top just so that way you have the 5 ways to ensure your reflection is helpful. Number 1 was stay in observation, not judgment. Number 2 was knowing when reflection needs action versus when it doesn't. Number 3 is asking yourself the right questions. Number 4, honor your capacity. And then number 5, decide what comes next. Reflection ends in continued integration and actionable steps. Okay? I hope this was helpful, y'all. I'm going to leave you with the declaration. I'm afraid to ask what advice you need, but feel free to ask your question. Because the comment's been crazy today. Okay, so the declaration that we'll end with today. I declare that my reflection is a tool for alignment, not a source of burden. I give myself permission to pause without pressure. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. I declare my reflection is a tool for alignment, not a source of burden. I give myself permission to pause without pressure. And that's exactly what I thought was going to be wildin'. I declare that my reflection is a tool for alignment, not a source of burden. I give myself permission to pause without pressure. So feel free to write that down. If you want to change it and adjust the declaration, feel free to do so. And then when it comes to next week, we will take this a step further. We'll talk about some frameworks. We'll talk about ways to that you can actually use for reflection. If there's any topics that you guys want us to talk about when it comes to reflection, please, bring those next week. Let me know. And from there, we'll kind of dive into this a little bit deeper. But the playback will be available, I would say, in the next, probably within the hour. It takes a little bit of time, But again, if this is your first time, my name is Debbie. I'm a certified mindfulness coach and also counselor in training. So if you are in Illinois, I am an intern and seeing clients, have a caseload of clients right now. So if you're in Illinois, you want to reach out for therapy, please let me know. If you are looking for mindfulness coaching, I do it more on a group basis right now. So if you're looking for someone for events or for speaking engagements, I do those as well. And if this is your first time, feel free to go to the website, haveninspired.com. You can sign up for our newsletter so that way you can get updates about our lives and all the information that I share. I usually will link all of the videos and things. And I'm not sure if you guys will have new meditations this week. Probably I'll start back with meditations next week. But I may surprise you. Who knows? So you'll see all of that coming in the next 2 weeks. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome from California. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Rosie. I appreciate you. I did shout you out, Cheryl. I got you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. And I hope that, again, I hope this is helpful. Y'all ain't let me know if it was, but I hope this is helpful. And if you have any questions, you can always email me at info@haveninspired.com if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see y'all all next Monday. This live is every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, usually about 30 to 45 minutes, typically not that long. Sometimes I get a little talkative, so make it get up to an hour. But for the most part, 30 to 45 minutes. Again, be blessed, and I will see y'all all next week. Bye.